Well, good Monday morning, everybody. This is Cecil Pearson Jr. coming at you here live on YouTube. I hope each and every one of you are just as blessed as I am this morning. Maybe even more so, but I would doubt it. Title of today's message is That Shadowy Place. Morning, Bino, Dweffy, Van Cleef, Kay, Lisa, Minister and the Gangster, Jonathan, Logan, Diane. Good to see y'all. Hello, Clint. Good to see you, brother. Fallen, Miss Sue, Carol, Felicia. Oh, we're just believing he's going to be fine, Miss Sue. Halfback, he's my hope. Lane, Neil, Oh, I appreciate it. Need him this morning. Got a lot of different stuff going on here this morning. So let's just jump on into this while I can. There's scripture for what I'm about to talk about, but you'll just have to go find it for yourself in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. This is more of an exercise of imagination today, because I want you to see something. I don't want you to read about something. I want you to see it with your mind's eye. And it's easy for most. Hey, cuz, love you. It's easy for most because y'all have seen the movie, The Passion of the Christ. But I want you to picture, hello, Albert. I want you to picture Jesus hanging on that cross this morning. That's what I want you to picture. I want you to picture the nails in his hands and his feet. I want you to picture that crown of thorns on his head. I want you to picture the blood pouring down that cross, soaking into the ground from the wounds on his back. I want you to picture just what Mel Gibson showed you in The Passion of the Christ when he had Jim Caviezel on that cross. I want you to picture that this morning. And there's a reason for it. See, a lot of people believe that, and it's what we celebrate. It's Easter. Well, Brother Cecil, we're coming up on Christmas. We should be talking about presents. That's the greatest gift any of us could have ever been given. Can't you see that? Jesus gave us the greatest gift that anyone could have ever given us. And he didn't do it. He gave it, he didn't do it on Easter. Well, he did, but he didn't. He gave it in about this time of year, to be honest. It was around Passover that he gave it. That's in the spring. That's what's coming next, folks. But that was the greatest gift anybody could get. This is the gift giving season. We just finished with the legalized purge, Black Friday. Now today's Cyber Monday. Tomorrow will be Twice Chance Tuesday. They took the day of Thanksgiving, which is a day where you worship and praise and give thanks to God for the many blessings that you've gotten throughout the year, and they commercialized the crap out of it. We still celebrate Thanksgiving with a feast. Yes, we do. And for folks, let me go ahead and stop y'all right now before you get started with your emails. I don't care if you don't celebrate these holidays. I do. And I make Jesus the main focus of all of them. So I don't care if you think it's pagan or not. Jesus is at the center of every celebration or holiday around here, with the exception of the 4th of July. Then the soldiers are. By his grace, but he's still there. So I don't care if you don't celebrate Christmas. No, he wasn't born on December the 25th. But it's a day that we set aside to celebrate his birthday. His birthday. What's wrong with that? Nothing. You're just a stick in the mud. Don't like to celebrate nothing. But I ain't getting into that. I'm just telling you, keep your pagan, your pagan this, your pagan that. Take it and shove it right where the sun don't shine, okay? I don't want to hear it. And if you send it, you're blocked. Know that. But Jesus gave us the greatest gift. So why not mention that gift at the beginning of the Christmas season? But it's more than just a gift. And I'm going to try to use what happened to me last night and mix it with this today to try to show you something. Hey, Brent, Jesus bridged a gap on that cross. When his arms were outstretched, Jesus bridged a gap for you to walk across one arm, across his shoulders, and across the other arm to get into to glory where the Father is. Jesus stood in the gap and made up the hedge that gets you to where the Father is. Because there was a divide between heaven and earth. And that divide was so great, no man could cross it. But Jesus bridged that divide. He became the bridge to get us to the Heavenly Father. Last night I got done talking with Brent. I got up from here to go to bed. I went to bed. Gail changed my dressing because it was hurting me real bad. Gail changed my dressing, and then disaster struck. I had to go to the bathroom quick. Jumped up, went to the bathroom. While I was sitting there in the bathroom, hey, Felicia, Carol, Isaac, Sue. I looked down. Never do it, but I did. I looked down, and my chest tube had all but fell out. I grabbed it. I got to Gail. She helped me get dressed, and we got to the hospital. Mind you, if this tube comes out, I die. My lung collapses, and I die. Or at the very least, require another lung surgery and another month in the hospital. But that tube had all but fell out. It was out like that far. Wasn't much left holding it in. But I got to the hospital. As you can imagine, there wasn't no waiting around. It was straight to the back. Doc come walking in. I said, chest tube, Tracy. What's the matter? I said, chest tube trying to come out. And he peeled the dressing back and he went, yes, it is. And he grabbed that tube and just shoved it. Buddy, let me tell you right now, my butthole could have held a guitar pick and picked the national anthem. It hurt so bad. And he said, oh, go give you a break there. I said, you think you could numb that up just a little bit? He went, yeah, I could probably do that. Well, a little bit later, he come back in there and he numbed it up. Got the tube put back in and got it sewed back in. And it caused some bleeding. Quite a bit. He's like, all right, you good to go. I come back home. But the whole time I was there, I was fairly calm. I wasn't upset. I wasn't angry, and I wasn't crying out, why me? Or why is this happening? Wasn't none of that. It was okay. This happened. It happened when it did. So I could see it, because if I'd fallen asleep, I'd have woke up in glory, which would have been just fine with me. But not so much for the grandkids and my children. But the pain on this thing is immense. You got to think about all the needles that went in and out of the skin, sewing it back in. You got to think about the mere thought of almost a foot of tube being shoved back down in there. The coughing, the breathing. And at one point during the night, Gail had to resuscitate me. I stopped breathing. I walked in that shadowy place called death last night. But it wasn't a mournful walk. It wasn't a troublesome walk. It was peace. Even though I was walking through the valley of death as I was driving to the hospital. I don't know if you guys know what getting a chest tube put in is like, but it's like driving a submarine. Once a tube is out of sight, you can't see where it's going. You can puncture a lung, you can puncture the heart. You'd make it, there's no channels for it to follow. And this coughing this morning, that's a whole new expression of pain. But I walked through the shadow last night, and I was not afraid. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Jesus bridged that gap on Calvary and was standing right beside me with the Father as I walked through that shadowy place last night. Jesus was right there. And as the doctor did his work, God's angels guided that tube to where it needed to be, so there'd be no complications. So I could be here this morning to do my job. And as I lay in that bed last night, the pain racking my body, I didn't get peace and fall asleep. Exhaustion knocked me out. But the breathing is a little easier this morning. The bubbling in the tube is a little less. The bleeding is a little less. God walked through that shadowy place with me last night. What shadowy place are you walking through? See, it doesn't just have to be the shadow of the valley of death. You know why? Because sin is black. It is darkness. What shadowy place? What shadowy place are you walking through this morning? What sin is covering the light of God from your life and blocking it out? What is causing the twilight instead of the sunlight in your life? Only you can answer that question. And I want you to answer it this morning as you picture Jesus, the Lord and Savior, hanging on that cross. Just like I said at the beginning of this message, I want you to picture that. And I want you to picture what is blocking that beautiful light from the throne of God out of your life. And then I want you to make the decision. Is being in the shadow and the darkness all the time worth whatever is blocking that light from you? Or would you rather have the light of God shining on you 24/7? Only you can make these decisions. All I can do is prompt your memory, prompt your imagination, and set you to thinking. Is the darkness you walk in worth the adultery you commit? Is the darkness and the thirst away from God's living water, his waters of life, is the separation from God worth the idolatry? Is it worth the lying and the stealing and the cheating, the murder? Is it worth all of this? Is it worth the fornication and the masturbation? Is it worth it? Is walking in that darkness worth being separated from God's light? Only you can answer this question, church. You know, I was talking yesterday with somebody, and I said, you know, I used to have 100, 150 people in here at a time. Now I got 29. I can't even hardly break 50 anymore. It's because the truth gets too hot, too close, too quick, too fast. Hey, Angela. It's because they can't stand the fact that I tell them you can't be a self-righteous Christian, look down your nose of indignation and judge other people. You need to be looking at your own self. And that's what this message is about. It is a self-reflection message. You don't need to look at what Brother Cecil went through last night. I walked through the shadow of the valley of death, not once, but twice. I strolled through, turned around, and come back. I went through that sucker not once, but twice. Last night. But what shadow are you walking in? What sin could you possibly have that is worth being separated from the true light that emits from God's throne? You walk in darkness because you choose to. Do you understand that? You walk in darkness because you choose to. There's a light switch on the wall of my room. If I don't flip the switch and turn the light on, it ain't nobody's fault if I stub my toe but my own, now is it? There's a light switch in the room that you're in. If you don't turn it on and try to walk through there in the dark and somebody's moved the coffee table or whatever is in your room and you break your foot on it, it ain't nobody's fault but yourself because you didn't turn the light on. If you go to hell this morning, it ain't nobody's fault but yourself because you didn't turn the light on. The light is right there, emanating from the throne of God. The switch that turns that light on is Jesus Christ and him crucified, resurrected. That's the only switch to God's light. Don't you think it's high time you turn it on? Don't you think it's time that you turn the light on and run the darkness out of your life and keep it going? You know, it's a country song. Talks about a woman leaving the man and how he's got every light on in the house. Name of the song is Every Light in the House is On. The backyard's bright as a crack of dawn. The front porch looks like a runway light, shining like a beacon in the dead of night. Every light in the house is on. The backyard's bright as a crack of dawn. The front porch looks like runway lights, shining like a beacon in the dead of night. Every light in the house is on, just in case you ever do get tired of being gone. God's got every light in the house on. All you've got to do is take the blinders off, the blinders of debauchery, of sin and troubles and trial, throw it on the ground. And walk right out into the light. You know, I don't know how many people's ever noticed this or not, but if you ever noticed on these TV shows and these news shows when the helicopter's flying at night and they got that light spotlighted down on the suspect, right? Yeah. He's right, trying to keep him right in the middle of that light. But you can see the outline of the light, and then everything's just instantly black and dark. That's God's light shining on you. You've got a little space to walk around in it. But if you step just one step too far, you're right back in the dark. That's God's light shining on you. But step one step too far, step over that line, and you can step right back into the darkness. And you can see from the light where the darkness begins. It ain't I didn't realize I was walking in a gray area. There are no gray areas. There's light and dark. And you know the difference. If you're married and you're messing with somebody else, that's darkness. That's instant darkness. If you're not married and you're trying to get into somebody's britches, that's fornication. That's instant darkness. If you lying and cheating on your taxes and cheating on your benefits and stuff, that's stealing. That's lying. That's instant darkness. You crossed out of the light into the dark. If you don't really need help and you take advantage of programs, that's stealing from somebody that really does need the help. And that's instant darkness. Why don't you stay out of the shadowy places, church? Stay in the light. Live in the light. Love in the light. Bask in that light. Guys, I love you. Not nearly as much as God, but I love you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. hit the little bell icon, click all, and you'll be notified when I go live or upload videos. There were no super chats today, so I don't have to thank for that. But if you'd like to support the ministry and my family, how to do so is down in the description of every video. There's the post office box, which is in town. There is a link to PayPal. There's an email address that goes to PayPal. Be praying for you, Grim. They're over on Facebook, Instant Messenger, the plus sign, the $, type in what you want. Go straight to the bank account with no fees. There's all 3 links to my books down there. Those are on Amazon. You can get them in paperback or electronic version. You got Kindle Unlimited. You can read them for free. Now, guys, I love you. Not nearly as much as God, but I love y'all. Y'all continue to pray for me, and I'll be praying for y'all. And good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye now.